record.
Okay.
3, 2, 1. Hello and welcome to the Gonzo Experience. I am David Gonzo Mamano. So happy that you are sharing your heartbeats with us today. I know there are thousands, maybe millions of podcasts now, and you chose to listen or watch to ours. So thank you so much. I truly appreciate it. I really value your time. And I try to put a lot of value into this. So not only could you be entertained, but you could walk away with nuggets right away to help you grow yourself and your business. So here we are today with a very old friend. He's not very old. He's in his 50s like me, but I've known my guest for probably 15 years at least. And he helped me with a previous business I had, but I want to welcome to the show, the great Stephen Pia. Stephen, welcome to the Gonzo Experience.
Thank you, David. Welcome, everyone, and great to be here. And the great should be great to be here, not the great Steve. we'll immediately make that a quick correction.
Well, you're very modest, but you are great. You've been doing some great things. Just so everybody knows what we're going to talk about. Stephen is an incredible sales trainer. When I ran my previous companies, a magazine called Next Step Magazine, and then we changed it to Next Step U. We were really a great media company that helped high school students with college, career, and life planning. The magazine was free to the students in high schools, and we'd make our money by selling advertising. And Stephen really focused on media back then, right? I think you do a little bit more now, but focused on helping media companies really maximize their revenue by offering value. And what I liked about Stephen, and I think you're gonna like my memory here, is that it wasn't about selling to people with Stephen. It was more about helping them buy, helping them invest, right? And people love to buy, right? People love to, I walk in Best Buy, and oh man, I love to buy, that new TV, right? I love to buy that new computer, but I don't want to be sold to. So we're going to talk about that as well. But Stephen, I'm talking way too much. Again, welcome to the show. You are a tremendous person, tremendous sales trainer. There's a lot of sales trainers out there, and you found a way to stand out from the crowd and really establish a good niche for yourself. But what I want to do is tell us a little bit more about your journey. I know you worked at Ziff Davis and how you became a sales trainer. And then I want to talk about specifically, how you can help, small and medium-sized entrepreneurs, with growing their business through some great helping people buy techniques.
Yeah. So interesting. I actually wanted to be a teacher, and my guidance counselor shut his door, true story, and said, "That's great, and just want to let you know that we make no money, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't do it. We certainly help kids. We certainly, et cetera, et cetera." And so I remember leaving that saying, well, I really want to help. It's part of the reason you want to be a teacher, but the money part was, and so ironically enough, the same week I was going home and I saw 3 of my coaches painting this beautiful big home. And I stopped my car my senior year in high school, and I said, "Coaches, what are you doing? Who owns this beautiful?" And they clink, 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 clink. They came down off the ladder and they go, "What are you talking about?" I'm like, "Yeah, which one of you owns this beautiful home?" And they go, "Dude, we make no money teaching and coaching. We had to paint to make ends meet." And I was like,
whoa.
I'm like, whoa. So I just remember that. I'm like, okay, don't want to be a teacher anymore. But I really did, but I didn't, so at the core, the fire in the belly, I did, but logically and brain wise, I was like, no, I don't. And so, so I got in the corporate world and started working at Ziff for a number of years, but never lost that. Always had that belly burn of wanting to be a trainer and a coach. So one afternoon at Ziff, I was in the lobby and I can't remember the intimate details, but I just remember somebody talking to the receptionist saying, who's that gentleman over there? And they said, "Oh, he's our sales trainer." And at the time I was the SVP of sales, but the receptionist thought I was a sales trainer. And I was like, that's the coolest thing that's ever happened to me at this company before, that they referenced me. And so that triggered everything. You have that moment, right? You entrepreneurs, you're all listening to this, you have that moment or multiple moments, right? And so at that point in time, for the next year and a half to 2 years, I stayed late at work and I just built all my curriculum content and built a business around how you were going to be a trainer and a coach. So that's how it all happened.
No, that's great. And now in today's world, there's so many sales coaches, sales trainers, right? How do you continue to stand out, from the sea of sameness, as they say?
Yeah. I think the missing link, or the part that is the true differentiator in training and coaching, and most people probably wouldn't predict this. The content's important, and you'd like to think that anybody in this business will rave about their content. It's really the delivery. It's really, how do you engage people? How do you both inspire them yet challenge them? What's your quote unquote training or coaching methodology? And if there's anything I wouldn't want to give away to anyone, it's that. Anybody wants to know our content, anything about our content, hey, I'll check. What do you want to know about it? What I think we've cracked the code on is actually how to teach and how to coach. And so anybody listening to this that ever wants to get into this business, or even speaking, even take, because many listening to this don't want to be a trainer and a coach, yet you're an entrepreneur, you're going to need to speak. And so when you think about even speaking, it's all about the methodology and your little way that you actually go about speaking, not so much the content of your speech. Yet again, content's important. You can have the greatest approach and your content's terrible and I get to land to your own. But as long as your content is good, focus on the delivery. So that's the differentiator.
Well, and I think that's I forgot how we met. Maybe somebody introduced us, or I met you at a show or something, but maybe Folio show, I bet, which is
Correct,
magazine conference show back in the day when magazines were still a thing, unfortunately. Yeah. I know there's a few left, but yeah, I mean, my staff loved you. I mean, first of all the ladies thought you were tremendously handsome, and all the guys, we enjoyed your content, but your delivery was great. And I think it's wise because you weren't putting on a show. You were just, your energy was wonderful, but it was very authentic, and your content was great, and your follow-up was wonderful. And you truly cared. You truly cared about helping us. And that's why we had you back over and over again and continue to work with you. So getting to, helping the Gonzo family here with sales, and most of our listeners are small to medium sized, business entrepreneurs, and chief cook, bottle washer, quite often they're running the business, they're helping create the product, and they're also selling to some extent. As a lot of entrepreneurs are salespeople at heart. What are we doing wrong? What are we doing right? How can we get better?
Yeah. Well, I would say the old KISS, keep it simple, stupid mantra.
I say keep it simple, silly, but this is a rated G show, Stephen. Come on.
I just don't overthink it, right? When you think about sales, it's not as complicated as people think that it is, right? So the percentage of time as you as an entrepreneur are thinking about selling, the first thing you've got to be great at is my time. What time do I invest in this part of my job? And second of all, who am I going after? And so I think probably the most underrated aspect of selling is not so much the pitch, not so much how do I overcome somebody's concern, not so much what question should I ask. That's crazy important. But I think the first thing you got to crack the code on is who am I going after, and how much time and approach, and how do I get meetings with folks? I call it upper funnel. I think when you're in sales, there's really there's upper, mid, and lower funnel. And so upper funnel is I got to plan my work and work my plan. I got to be able to determine who I'm going to go after and get meetings. And then I have to figure out how to get meetings. Because if I can't get meetings with people as an entrepreneur, all bets are off.
How has sales changed since you started coaching? Is it still fundamentally the same, or are there some big differences that we need to be thinking about?
At the core, it's fundamentally the same. It'll never change. What's changing a little bit is the mechanics that support the core, i.e. the LinkedIn's, the social, the digital tools, the different ways you can use it. So those certain things are in play. Think about it. When we were working together, who was creating a video and sending a video out as a way to introduce yourself? That just wasn't. Now, introducing yourself and having to do outreach, that's never going to change. That's what I mean at the core. But the mechanics of how you do it has violently changed, right? And so you got to, as an entrepreneur, you got to take a step back and think about, see, Stephen's right. I got to do outreach. I got to get, again, just focusing on this upper funnel part. I got to get meetings. But he's right. Maybe video is a better way for me to interest. So that's the part that's changed the most, I'd say.
Yeah, I remember when we started working with you, it was like the internet was just starting to take off, and things were going more and more online. And I think you'll be happy that I remember some of the stuff you taught us. And it was a little some tactics on how to once again stand out from the sea of sameness. And people were emailing like crazy back then, right? And I think email has come down a little bit because of different ways to communicate with texting and other messaging, but people were getting way too many emails. And but you were like, still use it. And we would do, and you suggested that we do, the proverbial cold call, the phone call, which inevitably, 9 times out of 10, you'd get the voicemail. So you would leave a nice voicemail. And then, but you said to follow up with a warm email, right? So now they're warmed up a little bit. You've called them, send them a nice email. Hey, I just left you a great message. Wanted to follow up. I think we can help you. Would love to learn more about you and have a discovery call, right? And so it was kind of the 1-2 punch, separate yourself a little bit. And then you took it even a step further, which I love, is if they didn't respond to your email in a couple of days, you would take that email that I originally sent and I would forward it to the client again. But in the subject line now, I would say, take 2. Yeah. Just say, hey, just wanted to make sure you received this. I know with spam, et cetera, things get lost in cyberspace. Hoping that we could connect, hoping you saw this email below. And usually that take 2 would work, right? Kind of, especially the my Catholic and Jewish prospects with the guilt, right? We get them with the guilt, I'm sending this again, right? And then I added a take 3, and this was my little twist. I would do a take 3 if they didn't answer. And what I did is I took a screenshot on Google Images of crickets, right? And that's all I would send, take 3. And all they would see in the body of the email is a bunch of crickets, right? And because that's what I'm hearing, right? Good. And that, I'm telling you, that worked. That has worked every time.
That's great. I mean, and for the listeners, the takeaway there is have fun with this stuff, right? Right. We're not saving lives, right? So have fun with this stuff and try different things. There may be listeners right now that are like, this is a really hot topic. I'm an entrepreneur. He's right. How do I get more? He struck a chord to me, like, if I don't get more meetings, my entrepreneurship is gonna be ending soon, right? So I now talk about what I call drive for 5. And so if you have 5 things as part of your outreach, you dramatically increase your odds of getting a meeting. If you have 4 for 5, and you get pretty good, and then everybody listening can discern that the lower the number per 5, the chances go down. So the drive for 5 is the first thing you want in your outreach, whether you do it by email, LinkedIn, or video, is a referral. The referral is the first thing you want to hit them with. The second thing is what I call show me you know me. You want to prove to your outreach a suspect that you did your homework, something relative to their personal thing you saw on LinkedIn, or their business because you went to their website, or however you get that. The third thing is what we call VBR, valid business reason, like what's in it for me. The fourth thing are others you're working with. That's a huge thing for the recipient. Oh, gosh, they're already working with a bunch of people I know. Like that's called the follow the herd. Like if I want to get invited to the party too, syndrome. And the last thing are specific dates and times that you're asking for, not leaving it open-ended at the end. Hey, if you're interested, let me know. Like, just being super surgically specific on when you want to meet and so forth. And if you can do that drive for 5, you will get more meetings than you know what to do with.
Yeah, I used to have I love that, by the way. And I used to have a boss when I first started out. My first job in out of college was in radio. I sold radio advertising, and a guy named Steve Chartrand, and he had the law of 21. I said, "What's that?" He goes, "You try to reach out in different ways to that client 21 times, or that prospect 21 times," and he goes, "I guarantee you, you will never get to 21." He's like, "You either get yes, let's have a meeting." No, I'm not interested, or, please leave me alone. You're stalking me, but at least you'll get some closure,
Yeah, yeah.
And so you're going to 5, which is great. I mean, you may know Andrea Waltz. She wrote a book called Go for No. The more no's you get, you should be excited about. I got 20 no's today, right? Because that means that you're going down the path of getting to a yes, right?
Yeah.
And I think it's a fantastic strategy.
Yeah, when you have the referral, if you get a referral, you should be doing no more than 4 outreach. 3 to 4 is the max.
Yeah.
It's when you don't have the referral, that's when all hell breaks loose. And quite frankly, I would tell people, and this may be a little bit too far to the right, I wouldn't even bother doing an outreach until you get the referral.
Yeah.
What we teach is I'd rather have people do outreach the right way and versus doing it the wrong way. What's the old definition of insanity? Doing the same thing over again and expecting to, yeah. Good luck to all you people out there doing cold outreach when it could be so much easier for yourself if you just did it differently in the right way, right?
Yeah.
And the other point is, you talk about that. You just mentioned the whole point about rejection and failure and no's. We joke that any young person, and how many young people are entrepreneurs today? It's maybe the gig economy, right? It's the fastest. So any of you young, you should sign a declaration to yourself and show your parents if you need to, that you're entering the profession of rejection, and just accept it, because in totality you're going to get rejected more than you get accepted. So if you just clutter your brain, if you just accept that, then you'll play to win. You'll have fun with it. And if you get a no, you won't get so bummed out about it. You're like, I'm supposed to get no. It's like, who cares? So it's kind of a mindset thing,
Yeah, I mean, I forgot the exact number, but there's a lot of research that shows that you have to ask. I believe it's like, well, I think 90% of people like say no the first time, right? Or don't even answer the phone call or the email, and then but people stop then, right? But if you call 2, 3, 4 times, the percentage of people like, okay, I'll have an appointment, or okay, let's buy, goes up tremendously, right?
Yeah.
And that's why you need to be okay with rejection. You need to be okay with no, and just keep on going, right?
Yeah, I think that's that. Like, we could be, you could be right, but it might be more about how many meetings you have. Like the more meetings you have, your greater chances of gaining closure and moving more towards it. Yeah, when I think that I talk about this incessantly when training and coaching salespeople. The meeting is the sale. That's because your prospect and client's most precious commodity is what? Time. So every time they continue to give you a follow-up meeting, the odds meter, I talk about the ding, the odds meter just keeps going more and more in your favor because they keep wanting to spend time with you. That doesn't mean it's a guaranteed yes, but your rejection rate starts to go much lower, when they keep wanting, like I said, when they keep wanting to meet with you, right? So if you're in management, if you're listening to this, you're an entrepreneur and you've got salespeople you manage, and they're finished with a meeting with a prospect or a client, the only question you should ever ask a salesperson before they bore you to tears about the details of the meeting is, when's the next one? And if they don't have one, why not? And think about this, everyone, entrepreneurs, consider it, paying salespeople for meetings. Make that what they get paid on.
Wow.
Think about that. If you get, I riff about this all the time when I'm training and coaching people. Think about, just take a step back. If you were paid on meetings, A, how many more meetings would you have? And B, would your attitude, would you change the way you present and the way you ask questions and would any of that change? And they're like, well, no. I go, so it wouldn't cause a change in behavior in terms of how you do everything else, right? but yet the biggest challenge for professional salespeople today is they don't have enough meetings. And so if that's the hardest thing, why don't we pay? Anyways, I could go on topic for that for a while.
I haven't heard that, but I really like it. Pay them for meetings,
Yeah.
Get $100 a meeting, $50 a
Yeah.
meeting, whatever it is, right?
And maybe an annual bonus or a quarterly bonus on revenue. So still tie a little bit to revenue, but revenue is like the appetizer. I get paid at the full course meal, and how I'm getting paid is based on meetings. So it sort of incentives both.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I really truly believe that companies should move to paying sellers on meetings.
Well, yeah. If I'm a salesperson, I know I'm going to get $50 for every meeting or whatever the number is. You can bet I'm going to go hog wild on getting a ton of meetings, right?
Yeah, and if you interview or do a survey on salespeople, and I guarantee you entrepreneurs would fall in this. Oh, I know I got to do outreach is not the sexy. It's just considered grunt. It's just you'll use every excuse under the sun. It's on your to-do list, or it's in your calendar to do it. But I'm going to do this other remedial task because, and you just keep excusing yourself. But if that was the only way you put food on the table,
yeah, that's great. I really like that idea. And the only way you're going to get a lot of meetings is by doing a lot of outreaches, right? Kind of the below all that, right? So,
right.
Yeah, right. So everything's going to go up, right?
Yeah, and plus as an entrepreneur, you had talked about earlier, they're the chef, cook, and bottle washer. So what else does an entrepreneur have to do? They have to forecast. They have to think about what they're going to, how do you forecast if you don't know what your meetings are? It's just, now you're just guessing. So as an entrepreneur, these yin and yang relative to what it takes when you put your sales hat on is much more than just your sales hat. It's helping you make decisions on how you're going to move your business forward, and what investments you're going to make, and are you going to hire somebody, not hire somebody. There's a lot of ramifications involved in this if you're an entrepreneur, as you all know, listening to this.
Yeah. You're reminding me. So when I was in college, way back when, that's where I got my the name Gonzo from, by the way. It was my fraternity name. Go Sammy, Sigma Alpha Mu. But one of my other fraternity brothers, his real name was Mike Teramican, but his fraternity name was Cheese. I'm glad I got Gonzo and not Cheese, but great guy, very talented. But he is, especially in college, the best salesperson I've ever seen. So, and here's why. Because we would go to the bar, like we had like our bar, right, on the weekends. And what he would do is, and he would say, he goes, watch me. He goes, I'm going to talk and ask out every single girl in this bar. And he goes, by the end of the night, I will have a date, right? And we watched it. He would, rejection. He would just hit every single, not literally hit, but he would just go and literally, he would walk out with one of those women by the end of the night. And we're like astounded, like, look at him, So he was having all these mini meetings, maybe not the best example, but, the guy was persistent and he was okay with the rejection. Right. So
Oh, that's funny. That's a good story. And, and as an entrepreneur, once you crack the code on feeling like you've got plenty of meetings, then you move to the next area of sort of best practice. And I think the most important part is thinking like an attorney, thinking like a lawyer, and going to your first meeting thinking, what do I got to get this prospect to tell me? And if they told me these 8 things or these 10 things or these 12 things, why wouldn't they buy? My chances of them buying from me go up exponentially, right? So if there's one nickname I've given any great salesperson I've either mentored or tormented, right? It's silent assassin. Because if you met that person, immediately after 5 minutes, you'd be like, there's no way they're in sales. They don't talk a lot. They're not. And yet I would then tell you how good they are in sales. And then you'd be like, well, wait a minute. I thought sales was all about talking a lot and having this bubbly personality, closing and all these just awful perceptions about this profession. And yet the most important, and it's not even close, component to being great in sales is curiosity. is understanding someone. And then basically based on understanding someone, knowing your value proposition sort of behind your back, right then and there determining I'm a fit or I'm not a fit. And if they're not a fit, one of the greatest things, if you're taking notes, entrepreneurs listening to this, take down 2 words: fail fast. It's so underrated. We're hanger-oners. We think we can close everybody, and that's not reality. So let your first 15 to 20 minutes of your first meeting determine whether or not you're failing fast and we out or not. Or what I like to say, attract the best, repel the rest.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah, no, that's fantastic. And I just want to get back to what you said about not being a stereotypical salesperson, right? And because we think of, the salesperson still is that used car guy, gal wearing the plaid sport jacket. But some of the best people, I would say most of the best salespeople, you would never know that they're quote unquote salespeople. I mean, you remember when you would come the next step, we had our top 2 salespeople was Chip Milligan, and Teresa Santa, now Teresa Oshman. And, like Teresa got invited to like 2 of her clients' weddings because they just became such good friends, and Chip, I heard over and over again with Chip, like, I love Chip. I don't even view him as like my salesperson. He's just a helpful friend, and they both had personalities that you would never guess that they were salespeople, but they were just such great people that wanted to help and make a difference, and they did very well because of that.
Yeah. Chip had almost an account management DNA but oh, by the way, he was in sales.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Which is an interesting way of looking at it.
Exactly.
Sure.
Yeah.
So important again, just cannot underscore how important asking questions, but based on the answers you're looking for. That's the key.
Yeah. Well, as we start to end the show here, I think the nugget to walk away with is if you are an entrepreneur, you don't have a sales manager, paying you per appointment, but you are your own sales manager. And I love that philosophy where, at the end of the day, Mr. Mrs. Entrepreneur, the more appointments you have, the more money you are going to make. So have that be your goal. Have that, maybe set a goal like, I'm going to have 100, touches this week. And out of those 100 touches, my goal is like, I want, 15, 20 appointments, right? Whatever the number is. And now you have a focused goal that you start off your day with, right? Not this nebulous, like, what am I going to do today? Do I need to work on the content? Do I need to, work on my health insurance, blah, 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 or the product? No, I'm waking up and I know before I do anything else, damn it, I need to get 5 appointments today, so.
Yeah. And leverage your existing clients. Go to them and help them give you referrals. When you get an existing client, I don't want you to be excited about the existing client. I want you to be excited the fact you're going to be able to get referrals from an existing client, because it's the easiest way to get meetings. It's part of the Drive for 5. And the subject title of your video, email, or LinkedIn note is the name of somebody that person you're sending it to already knows, most likely respects, trust, and you easily get more meetings. So leverage your existing contacts, your existing relationships, your existing clients. You cannot miss that, or you'll find it difficult to grow your business.
Referrals and appointments. That's what I'm getting from you, Stephen.
Yeah. And then the most important part of the appointment is getting your prospect to say certain things and to share information with you that okay, this is a good fit, or fail fast. And even if you fail fast, wait for it, entrepreneurs, wait for it. Even when you fail fast, what should you do? I'm going to give you a chance to fill in the blank. All right, I'll give it to you. Still ask for referrals.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Still ask for them. So you just can't miss a beat.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Yeah. So sorry I'm not able to help you, but you know anybody else who I may be able to help.
100%. Or better yet, you already went on their LinkedIn profile. So you basically say, sorry, we couldn't connect, but I did see these 6 people in your LinkedIn profile. Would you permit me to socialize your name and a brief outreach to them? Oh yeah, sure. Go ahead. Bingo. You're glad you got the no. You just got 6 more meetings.
Yeah. Yeah.
You just gotta, the upper funnel, I talked about upper, mid and lower funnel, and we spent most of this on upper funnel. And it's a good reason we did there, because upper funnel is the most important part for an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
But so you just have to crack that code.
Stephen Pia, you continue to be just a wonderful person, sales trainer, and human being. So I appreciate you sharing your heartbeats with me today. You're wonderful. You continue to do great things and have great content. Really appreciate it. I don't think I mentioned the name of your company. It's Coach Media, with an emphasis on me for media. And so, Stephen, if people are just excited about what we talked about today and want to learn more and get in touch with you, maybe have what I like to call a discovery call, Zoom call, phone call, to see if you guys are a good fit. How do they get in touch with you?
It's they could go to the website. Easier enough just to send me an email. It's SPIA at Coach Media Pros. You have to add the PROS, coachmediapros.com. So SPIA at coachmediapros.com. That's probably the easiest way.
That's your website too, coachmediapros.com.
Coachmediapros.com, yeah.
Good. And as always, anybody, if you want to have a personal connection to Stephen, I'd be happy to do that. David at davidmamano.com. Be happy to queue up an email and introduce the both of you. So, Stephen, once again, thank you so much. I wish you continued massive success. And I'm so glad that we've kept in touch over the years.
Yeah, thanks, buddy. And likewise, happiness and healthiness to you and your family.
You too. Appreciate that. Everybody, again, Gonzo family, thank you for listening. Always asking you a little favor, go on your app, rate, review us, all that great stuff. Tell a friend or two about us. We love to get more and more downloads and subscribers. Thank you so much for sharing your heartbeats with us today. Have a great day and make sure to stay awesome. Oh, what did I do here?